Alright folks, so the Xbox handheld is doing rounds and PlayStation fans are losing their minds because for some reason, even though they're saying it's a PC, they can't stop comparing it to the PS5 and then start mocking people for saying it's an Xbox even though people know it's a PC, but they just need to kind of fight for the sake of fighting. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If they know it's a PC, the other side knows it's a PC. I think the real problem here is the fact that it's got an Xbox logo, and that Xbox logo is going to be running all of their PlayStation games. They all accept that it's a PC. Every other handheld can do exactly the same. But they are really upset at the fact that this one has an Xbox logo and it's going to run their games. But that's not the purpose of this video. I know people are going to cry and say everything, but if you are buying any of the Xbox ROG Ally variants, you're in for a little bit of a treat. Not only are you getting the upgraded version of Windows on there, the one specifically designed for the handheld, which will be rolled out eventually to the other devices, but it does have an exclusivity period on the Xbox ROG Ally variants. You're also going to get their shader improvement earlier than anyone else. As you can see on screen right now, DirectX speeds up game loads up to 10 times with new advanced shader compiling feature, which debuts with Xbox PC app on ROG, Xbox Ally, and Ally X. More devices later. Now, I suspect that this will roll out to the Xbox app as well later on, and eventually to everything else so everyone can use it, but the advanced shader delivery will cut initial game loading time by as much as 85%. Now, this is essentially when the game actually starts up, it needs to do their shaders. This is going to speed that up, and they've got a nice little diagram here which basically showcases how it's supposed to be done. You know, you've got your game, you download it, then it's got the fallback shaders. So if we read this, Microsoft has announced a new feature that will reduce initial load times called Advanced Shader Delivery. According to the DirectX developer blog, this will move shader compilation from device to the cloud, allowing you to download the necessary files directly to your device for caching. Now, obviously, this also means you need to be connected to the internet. Aside from allowing you to get into your game much faster, with the company reporting an observed 85% reduction in load times for Avowed, it also claims to save your battery and processing power as Microsoft handles the heavy lifting on its end, which essentially means longer playtime for you. Shader compilation is traditionally done on device, as it must be compiled specifically for your game, GPU, and driver version. This means that the shader compilation performance will vary based on your software and hardware, and with the nearly infinite number of variations out there, it was next to impossible for developers to pre-compile shaders for every device. However, Microsoft changed this by creating a new standard format called State Object Database, which is SODB. And so essentially, what's going to happen here is the shaders will basically start, and then it will kind of do all of the stuff that it needs to do. The cloud will look at your system and do all of the heavy lifting on that side. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. But they will do all the heavy lifting on their side, and then once it's ready, they will give you the completed form of the shaders, and then you download that. And it saves just an ample of time. It saves you battery life because your system isn't processing it, and it's just downloading the required information, which is essentially what you want. This is really, really good news and really, really good tech, but it doesn't just stop there. See, what we have is this as well. So the Xbox LAX will have an exclusive technology that is essentially no other device in the market has, which will increase the quality of games without cost. Now, Microsoft's Auto SR has been in talks for quite some time now, and it basically takes the final frame and improves upon that final frame, which is what you see. Now, there's a whole technology behind this, and also Auto SR can actually house within itself DLSS, XCSS, FSR, the whole thing. It's basically a massive container, but it also has its own auto super resolution ability, which basically applies to the final frame. And so what you're seeing here is the left, which is native, and the right, which is 720p, and the right, which is 1080p. Now, this would have obviously been a much better comparison with you know, both of them being 1080p, but the right is 1080p enhanced by Auto SR, which is exclusively on Xbox LIX. I suspect it's going to be on the standard Xbox Ally as well. 0 performance cost, 0 downsides. This doesn't actually cost almost nothing in terms of processing power, which means it doesn't actually use any of your battery. But you can see the clear difference between the left image and the right image. The right image is more defined, more crisp, more, more vibrant. It is more clear. So there's clear benefits to this. So not only is the new handheld for the Xbox ROG Ally variant going to have the new shader compilation technology exclusively to it for a limited time, it's also getting the Auto SR as well. And we can see another image here. You can see the left image slightly blurred, the right image is more defined. These are really cool pieces of tech that basically give you just a better picture. There's no cost to this as well. That's the beauty of Auto SR. Auto SR is done post-processing, so there is no cost to this. When we say cost, I mean in terms of like battery cost, processing cost, memory cost, there's nothing. There's no downside to having this enabled. And the fact that Auto SR just works automatically on the final frame is phenomenal. I don't know, folks. The Xbox Ally X is seeming like a big deal at this point. Yes, it's not a native console, and from what Sarah Bond said, the Xbox ROG Ally X, or Xbox ROG Ally, is basically going to be the handheld console for Xbox. If you want to play your games, your native games of Xbox, you can either stream them directly from your console, or you can play them through xCloud. And it looks like that is going to be the way that they go about, previous generations. At least on the handheld console. The console itself that's coming next year and the year after, those will have it kind of like hardware level built in. But with the handheld, it looks like the way they're going to service games that aren't Play Anywhere, because those that are Play Anywhere, which is basically every Xbox game released pretty much, that's first party at least, even a lot of third parties now are joining that bandwagon. They will basically play across, and even though it's not the native Xbox version, it doesn't really matter because your save transfers and you don't have to buy the game twice. And that's the most important thing here, right? So that's really cool. And at the end of the day, if you don't like cloud, them's are the draws. But you also have access to stuff like GeForce Now as well, which will give you a 5080 experience come September, which is amazing. The Xbox app already is, has the option for you to boot games through xCloud or GeForce Now, depending on if the game is available on GeForce Now. So it's providing you the choice of both. So I'm really hoping that Microsoft does do some kind of, light agreement with Nvidia, some partnership, because they're working together so long. I'd be surprised if there wasn't talks already happening. But this new tech, alongside the actual, tech for the shaders, is going to be a massive, massive win. Basically, everything that you wanted that wasn't there in the previous handheld consoles is finally happening. You're going to get better performance, better visual clarity, all at the cost, at the benefit of saving you battery life, which means rather than you sitting there for a minute or two or whatever it takes for the shaders to compile, you're getting all of that for free, rather than the extra processing power that comes with the processing of DLSS or anything, or just in general. Auto SR is something that will work and provide you better visual clarity at 0 cost, which means you are gaming for longer. Well, folks, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, because that to me looks great. And the way Microsoft is going with this device, it's clear that they want this to be the new standard for them. And I can see that in the future, with future iterations of these devices, this is going to be the way Microsoft goes forward. I know Project Keenan hasn't officially been cancelled, it's just been indefinitely delayed. But at this point, I don't really see the need for it, especially with the next console being a kind of hybrid PC cross console. It just makes sense that the direction they're going with this handheld will be the next Xbox. This time next year, we'll basically, or coming up to next year, we'll be talking about this actually being an Xbox handheld in its entirety, because it will do exactly what, more or less, what the console is doing. Anyway, folks, that's the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. We're so close to you know, 10,000 subs. Let's see if we can get there by the end of the year. If you've enjoyed this content, do consider leaving a like, subscribe, hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, and remain legend.